This is Bob from the Flagons and Dragons podcast, and you are listening to Two Dudes and an NES.
Hey, Justin.
What's up, man?
Oh, man. I wrote down a script this morning. I feel like I've been really slacking on this intro stuff.
Okay.
So, here we go. Hello, Justin.
Hello, Michael.
We have a guest today. His name is Aaron from the Retro Obscura podcast.
Oh,
hello.
great.
And we will be talking about Startropics. Actually, it's all one word, isn't it? Startropics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you need to round them together. And I don't like your intro. It felt too scripted.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll work on that.
You were just running through the motions there.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, I feel like we got to find a happy medium there, because I feel like I'm either all willy-nilly, don't know what's going on in the intro, or now I guess I'm too scripted.
Mm-hmm.
Just throwing a Mike.
Yeah, we don't need a robot.
Mike Jones. Nice
Yeah,
rap.
that's what I think of now when I think of Startropics.
Who was Mike Jones? Wasn't he like a rapper?
He's a rapper from Houston, yeah, and he was really popular when I was in high school.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's doing now, but people in band would say, Mike Jones, who? And because he would list his phone number on every song to self-promote himself. So I think you guys need to start doing that.
He listed his phone number?
Yes. He gave out his phone number where you could call him and talk to him, I guess. Or, it was like a promotional number. And so he put it in his songs, and it would just be like, Mike Jones, who? And I don't know. That's the main character of Startropics. That's just what I think of now.
Yeah. I do remember, I remember one song, and that was what he would do. I don't remember the phone number part, but I do remember him, every 5 minutes I would hear in the background, Mike Jones.
I'm trying to think of what that song was. I can't even remember what it was.
He had one big hit song.
Yeah,
I would say.
he was kind of a one-hit wonder, really.
Yeah.
I mean, he really kind of had that one song, and then he just kind of faded off into obscurity. But, speaking of phone, this is kind of a random topic, not to go on a tangent too early. But I heard this.
We're 2 minutes in.
I heard this past week, and I thought it was interesting. But Bill Murray's kind of this kind of weird, obviously he's a genius, comedic genius, but he's kind of a weird guy. Well, apparently he has no manager, and he has a cell phone, but he doesn't give his cell phone number out. But what he does give out is a 1-800 number. And this 1-800 number leads you to an answering machine. And if you want to get in contact with him, you have to leave him an impressive message. So only people that have gotten him to be in movies, they've obviously left impressive messages on his 1-800 number answering machine.
So what you're saying is we could get Bill Murray on the show if we're good enough.
Have you guys? Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if we did a very good voicemail, we'd get him on the show. Go ahead, Eric.
Oh, no, I was going to say, did you see that picture of, so Bill Murray is posing with a baby, and the baby's, just not having it at all, and the baby's just crying, and so Bill Murray, imitates the baby's face. It's hilarious. Doing that.
No, it sounds great. It sounds awesome.
I love Bill Murray.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, so, Startropics.
Mm-hmm. Right.
How about it? Wait, first let's let Aaron introduce himself more properly than hello.
Hello. I'm just kidding. This is Aaron from the Retro Obscura podcast, and I also do chiptune and just other music under the name Diagamblic on SoundCloud. But yeah, you can find Retro Obscura. We talk about just any obscure retro games, and you can find us on Podomatic. And that's about it for me.
Yeah, if you remember the Tecmo Bowl episode, we had a member of Retro Obscura on for all of 2 minutes before technical difficulties got in the way.
I think
Aaron
his wife was popping popcorn or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Aaron is also like the star player in the Retro Junkies minis. I think it probably wouldn't exist if Aaron wasn't able to record as much as he does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we did like mostly with Phil, the No Square Gamer. I want to say we did like 8 episodes.
Yeah,
and then people were like, "Hey, don't hog all the episodes because we want to cover some of these topics too." I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna back off for a bit and let you guys take it."
yeah. That's all good.
That's all good. Yeah.
Go for it. They're great.
Justin's historical tidbits and trivia.
Who's ready for a game show?
No.
I tried to think of a good intro. I need some intro music to play for Justin's historical trivia and tidbits game show.
Oh
yeah, every song is like.
You know, what I love about game shows is like at the end when they're panning out and the host is like talking to the contestants, you know, like shaking their hand, just like, you know, they're probably not talking about anything. They just have to make it look like they're talking.
Right.
But, mm-hmm.
Oh, you think they're mouthing? Okay. Just saying raspberry over and over again?
Alex Trebek is like looking at them, shaking their hand, saying, "I'm not interested in anything you have to say. I don't care. I just gotta act like I'm talking to you."
Get off my show.
Yeah. But anyway, okay. So we're gonna do a game show or a quiz game, because apparently when we have guests on, our fans really like it when Mike goes up against our guest for a little historical trivia game.
I'm a little worried about going up against Aaron, because he's a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah, I would be too. Some of these questions are a little easy, so maybe you can
just rapid fire.
Quick on the draw.
All right, let me clear my throat.
All right, you guys ready?
Mike.
So Aaron, how this works? Is you buzz in via saying your name.
All right.
So you, when you think you know, now each question will be listed with 3 choices, but you don't even have to let me finish the question. If you think you know it, you can go ahead and buzz in. Okay? All right. Here we go. Question number 1. This is kind of a warm-up. This is an easy one, I think. What country was this game not released in?
Mike.
Aaron.
Oh,
Japan.
that was close. Yeah, Aaron. Aaron gets it with a...
You gotta wait and see who Justin thinks it is.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
It could have been me.
I
totally was going to say Japan, too. No, I think that was a tie.
Aaron?
1-1.
No, I think it's 1-0, Aaron.
Okay.
Guess takes all ties.
Okay, he pulled a Rob Luther on me. That's all right.
Okay. All right. Number 2. On IGN's Top 100 NES games, this game came ranked...
Mike.
Okay. Go.
35th.
All right, 35th. You got it.
Oh, man. I was going to say like 75th.
No, this game actually came in at number 35 on IGN's Top 100 list.
All right.
Now, Mike, I think you put up IGN list. I don't know if it was this list.
It was the top 125 Nintendo games of all time.
Yeah, not just NES.
Not just NES. Yeah, it's in honor of their 125th birthday.
We had an interesting commenter on there. Somebody from your past that may be listening to the show.
Neighbor kid.
And want his games back.
An ex-girlfriend or something.
No, the infamous neighbor kid that I talked about.
That may want his games back, so I'd get a little nervous about telling my story.
Does he want his $2?
He's been unearthed. He may be asking for his games back.
Right. I saw that. That's the first thing I thought about. Okay. So, number 3. So it's tied 1-1. Number 3. This game was developed by the division of Nintendo now known as Integrated Research and Development. What was this division previously known as? Is it A, Research and Development 3, B, Research and Engineering Design, or C, Software Development Group 3?
Mike.
Yes.
A. Research and Development 3.
Research and Development 3 is correct. They changed names in the year 2000. Now, there was a red herring in that question. I didn't know if you guys had done some reading before, but Research and Engineering Design is actually now a part of Integrated Research and Development.
Ooh, no.
Now.
I did not know that.
But the original, this was originally Research and Development 3.
Okay, I have a question. Why did Nintendo have to come up with such boring names?
Yeah. That's a good question.
I'm falling asleep right now with those names of those divisions. Come on, Nintendo. Be like super awesome number 3. I don't know.
They could have named them after their characters. Why couldn't they be like, this is the Mario division. This is the Zelda division.
So one of the famous games that this division brought, and obviously Startropics, but also Punch-Out came out of this division. So they could have named it after Punch-Out. But anywho,
they like to make games with Mike in them. I like this division.
That's right. All right. So Mike's up 2-1. Question 4: what famous Nintendo developer directed this game? Is it A, Jinyo Takada?
Aaron.
Takeda. Okay. Aaron.
It was Genyo Takeda. And I
That
believe
is correct.
he worked on Nintendo's first arcade game by Star Race, their first coin-op.
Yeah, it is. It is. That I should give you a bonus point for that, right?
No.
For bringing in that extra.
Tom Arnold definitely be impressed with that.
That's right. Okay, so now it's 2-2. I won't give him the bonus point.
Okay, he can have a Tom Arnold point, but that doesn't count in the quiz.
Okay. All right. So number 5. What console did Takeda later work on and have a hand in developing? Is it A, the Game Boy, B, Super Nintendo, or C, the Wii?
Mike.
Aaron.
Mike, I think, buzzed in first.
Let's say Wii.
It's the Wii. Now, he also helped develop the controller for the Nintendo 64. So
he's an
awesome
innovator for sure.
Wait, does he have 3 hands? I'm just wondering.
Hey, now, I love the Nintendo.
No, I admit it. I really like the N64 controller, and I like that it actually inspired the Wii. If you look at the Wii nunchuck, it's got the same shape on the the center stick.
Oh yeah, I never even thought about that. But that is true. I like that. At first, I remember when the Nintendo 64 came out, I thought this thing is huge and massive. How am I supposed to hold this? But now I love it. Okay.
No, I miss the trigger button right behind your finger. Instead of being on top of the controller, I want it to be back behind my finger again.
Like you're actually shooting a gun?
Yeah, I guess it is on the 360 controller, but I don't play 360.
It was perfect for Star Fox. Oh my goodness, because for flight games, that was just the perfect place to have it. And then using it in Super Mario 64 and be able to do like the Z jump. Oh, it was fun.
Yeah, it was good.
Oh, yeah.
And then when you tried to play the same thing on the GameCube, or when you tried to play it on Wii with the classic controller, you tried to play Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario 64. It's just not the same because they remapped everything.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. So, Mike, coming in with the lead, going into question 6 at 3-2.
It's tight.
Okay. This one's kind of a gameplay. The next 2 questions are a little bit kind of getting into the game. All right, number 6. One of the famous things about this game is this game came with an actual physical letter that you could dip in water with a message to the gamer. What number was revealed?
Mike.
Aaron.
I think Mike buzzed in faster.
747?
It's 747.
Yes. Oh, I knew it too. Hey.
Now, because he's got 4, and there's only 7 questions. But
Wait,
we'll
so I'm going to win?
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Oh, snap.
the upset of the century here. We'll go ahead and We'll go ahead and go with number 7. Okay. The character Mike is asked by the fishing master in the game if he is what character from the Nintendo Power magazine? Is it
Aaron.
A. Howard? Go, Aaron.
Nestor?
It's Nestor.
Yes.
4-3. Close game.
That was close. That was good. I knew it'd be close.
It was almost tied, because if I would have been just a hair faster,
Yeah.
man.
I'm a really big fan of Startropics, so
Yeah.
if it would have been any other game, you would have come on the show, then it may have been different.
Well, there's a couple other cameos, not just by Nestor in this game. The ROB, the robot. Yeah. They said that the Navcom from the game was actually a homage, I guess, to that accessory. And
Cool.
also there's a Zelda symbol somewhere in the game. But I didn't want to bring that up in the quiz because I couldn't actually find out where that was at. But apparently there is a Zelda symbol on one of the floors in one of the levels. But anyway. Which is funny because pretty much every review, as I've been looking over reviews this past week for this game, pretty much compares this game to Zelda.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
I see
it's very similar. I mean, not quite the same, but yeah, it's similar.
yeah. So that we'll move on from history now. Mike, do you have any good stories? Did you steal this one too, or?
Michael's quest to find the cart.
No. Hey, I do have a really good story about this game, but I know you got to leave a little early today, and you may miss the end of the show. So I wanted to bring something up before you left because it kind of involves you too. And it's kind of serious, and I'm sorry to the listeners for getting a little serious, but we have a friend. We've talked about him several times on the show, Crabman.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he and his wife have had a child, which we've also talked about. And his name's Elliot. And he has actually been diagnosed with a medical condition called arthrogryposis, which is kind of it's a condition with the limbs or something. You can look it up listeners, you can look it up if you want to. But anyways, they've started a GoFundMe because they're going to have to go through a whole lot of medical procedures and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought we would bring it up on the show. We're not technically asking people to donate, but we thought maybe we could bring it up on the show if anybody feels, anybody feels inclined to donate, it would help them out a lot. And we've talked about Crabman on the show several times, and he's probably going to be on the show eventually.
Right.
So he is kind of a part of the show. So anyways, I'm going to direct everybody to their GoFundMe site. It's www.gofundme.com/BW0D1G. So that may be really hard to find, but if you want to, maybe you could look it up. His name's Elliot Crabtrees. It's Elliot Crabtree's AMC medical account on GoFundMe.
Yeah.
So if the listeners wouldn't care to just go check it out if they're feeling nice, having a good day.
Mm-hmm.
Want to check it out. He's a close friend of ours, so we just thought we would put that out there for people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's there's things like this. It just gets expensive, not just in the medical bills, but they're going to have to be traveling a lot with specialists that are obviously out of town. So, any little bit helps.
Yeah. So, anyways, back to the fun times. So this game, for me, this is a game that this was probably the game that my grandfather and I played the most. And I've talked about him on the show before, how he and I used to play games all the time. Well, he bought this game for himself, technically. Technically, I guess he bought it for me, but he bought it and kept it at his house because he played it all the time. Anyway, so we played this game all the time at his house. We'd talk about figuring out the puzzles together and all that kind of cool stuff. Well, so years go by, we play the game. And so my collection goes into the closet, and he dies, and I get all his games. and they go into the closet. And then a few years ago, when I brought all my games out, this is the cool part of the story. So that's how I got the game. But I also wanted to tell this second part of the story, which is really cool. A few years ago, when I got the game back out of the closet and started hooking everything up and trying everything out, I put the game in and I turned it on, and he had a game file saved on there, and it kind of, brought back all this wave of emotions, remembering all these good times playing the game with him. Mm-hmm. So, and I always talk about being in defense of the cartridge, right? How the cartridge is the best gaming medium, and that's a good situation where there's no way that I would have ever had that experience and had that memory of finding his game save on this cartridge.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't for a cartridge, like a CD, if I would have found the CD and plugged it into my PlayStation 1 or something, unless I had a memory card or something like that, there's no way I would have that experience. And that's one of the reasons I'm a big proponent of the cartridge.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny because in the game, I knew it was his game file because, he was like 80 years old, so he wasn't the best at video games, but. So he would, in his game save, it was the letters were all screwed up. His name was Bill, so it was like B, and like 1, and then it was L, and then it was like L L L L L L L L L, because he couldn't figure out how to end it or finish his name, so he just filled out all the rest of the letters with his last letter until it let him continue on.
Nice.
So it was funny. But anyway, so that's a cool. I think I finally caught up with Rob and his cool stories about a game. So.
That is a cool story. Now I have a kind of cool story about the putting your name in, because this past week when I was playing this game, I was trying to get past putting your name in. And I couldn't figure out. I had just kind of a brain fart moment. Didn't think to hit select, and I kept hitting okay, why is it not going? But yeah.
See, there you go. It wasn't all his fault. This game has a tricky name input screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's dry up our tears and move on to gameplay discussion.
Man, that was a serious 5 minutes there, wasn't it?
That was a serious 5 minutes. I feel like Rob Luther's been on the show.
And I can give you guys a story if you want.
Sure.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, okay, Justin, would you quit stealing the thunder from Aaron?
Oh,
First you make him lose the quiz by going up against me, and now you're not even gonna let him tell his story.
All right. How dare I?
First time I heard about this game, like most kids, was Nintendo Power. It was Volume 21. There's a huge, I don't know what type of bird it is. It's a very colorful bird. It looks like Toucan Sam. And, and you go in there, and there's just a ton of info on Startropics and, a bunch of maps. And then they've got, pictures of all the people. I just remember being so excited for this game. And I think I don't think we owned it, but we definitely rented it. And it wasn't until, I think all of my siblings had moved out. And this was around, 1995 or so. So more serious stuff. I got diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. And so, when that happened, my mom was like, okay, well, we need to get Aaron something to do while he's recovering. And so she got me another Nintendo, because I don't remember what happened to her other one. I think it just broke down. And so she got me another NES, and she said, okay, well, pick out a few games. And one of the ones they had at KB Toy Store, you go to KB Toy Store and you see a whole bunch of games on the shelf or inside that Nintendo, I don't know what you call it, a vending thing, behind the glass. So you open the glass, and they had a brand new copy of Startropics in there. And so I remember getting that game and just being so excited, because I remember, liking it, and it being like Zelda, and I'm just so happy to have that game in, getting that letter. I don't know if you guys are going to talk about that letter later.
We definitely will. We can talk about it now too.
Oh yeah, I'll just talk about it now. But it was interesting that as a kid you didn't think of this as a form of copy protection, but if you bought a loose copy of Startropics, you were kind of you were screwed. You had to. I seriously remember. getting this letter, and it's like, oh, why did I get a letter in this game? And it's a letter from your uncle, Dr. J or Dr. Jones. Not that Dr. J, not the basketball player.
It's uncle with a big afro.
Yeah, that's right. That'd be even cooler. But no, so you get this letter, and it reveals a secret code, but only after you dip the paper in water. And so the only problem with that is, like, if you're a completionist and you dip paper in water, does that ruin it for you? I mean, would you have to buy 2 copies of this game?
Yeah.
I don't know. Just to have the letter, but
when you dip it in water, you pretty much ruin it. I mean,
yeah. It's cool that you got the secret code. I mean, there were no other games I could think of back then that did that. But yeah, I was like, you get halfway through the game and you get to this part where you're on sub C, or whatever the sub was at that point, and you had to enter this code. And I don't remember. 747 is the name of a plane, right?
Right. It's a
Boeing.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I definitely have good memories of getting this game again, and I hopefully you guys will cover the sequel at some point too, Zoda's Revenge. I don't know if you guys ever got that one, or do you have a copy of it?
I have a copy of it, but I haven't played it yet.
Oh, you will love it.
I picked up a copy about 6 or 7 months ago, but I haven't.
And I know you guys are going to talk about the controls of this game. The controls in the second game are so much better.
Really?
Yes, they got rid of the grid-like movement of the first game.
Oh, well then you and I may have a bone to pick then, because we'll get into it when we talk about the gameplay. But
okay.
I have an affinity to this style of controls in this first game.
No, you're absolutely right. We'll talk about it later though. I'll let Justin take over.
I was just showing a couple pictures as you were talking. You were talking about the bird and wanted to show the bird. I believe that bird was a toucan. What do you guys think?
Yeah, toucan stand. I think so.
I'll go with a toucan. The bananas in the ears. I remember that. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, so. There's a lot of things, I think, in this game that's like, what is that about?
Well, this is like, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Earthbound, in that, this is like a warped perception of what America is to the Japanese. It's like this kid. He's from, they say the mainland, but that has to be America, right?
Mm-hmm.
Has to be USA. And this kid is like your typical American baseball playing kid with a yo-yo.
Maybe that's why they didn't release it in Japan. They're like, nobody. They don't even know what a yo-yo is over here.
They know what baseball is. They love baseball. That's why every American kid has to play baseball, so they can relate to it. I don't know why they wouldn't release it in Japan. You know what's funny? It's that same development group that did Punch-Out, and that game didn't come out in Japan either, I don't think. Not until, like, years later.
It came out in a different form, I think, didn't it? Yeah, it was a different form of Punch-Out. It wasn't Mike Tyson's. Or did they? I don't remember. We talked about Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
I don't know, but I don't remember talking about it. But it'd be interesting if they didn't release it with Mike Tyson, because I think Mike Tyson was. Oh yeah, there you go.
There's the actual Nintendo Power.
Oh yeah,
Aaron.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, I think you can go to Startropics.com, and you can read that actual Nintendo Power.
Yeah, that's where I am actually. For all who want to know, Startropics.com. You can actually download the PDF of the Nintendo Power.
That's awesome. It's a very colorful bird. Well, I don't know. Is that a toucan or is that a parrot?
Beats me. I don't know.
We need a bird expert. You got an ornithologist on the line? Mm-hmm. Well, Mike brought up horologist last week. You got an ornithologist,
I don't know. No, I do not. My bad.
Mm-hmm. Right. You got a manual on there?
Yeah. Hang on.
Okay.
Are you seeing anything yet?
I see the box.
Okay, hang on. Here it comes. There we go.
Oh, there's the manual.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I guess we're kind of already talking about the gameplay.
The game discussion.
Yeah.
So we kind of missed our segue, but let's go ahead and talk about the. Let's go ahead and talk about the game. We'll start with the manual. How about that?
Sounds great.
Alrighty. First of all, before we really get into talking about the manual, I just want to get it off my chest right off the bat that this game was partially one of my favorite games because the main character was named Mike. So I could kind of relate there, you know.
I like how the manual. I like how the manual gives his proper name very. My name is Michael Jones, but my friends call me Mike.
Yeah. Let me read this. This is since it feels like it's coming from me, the player, you know. Hi, my name is Michael Jones, but my friends call me Mike. I'm 15. Okay, that feels weird. I'm 15 years old, and I live in Seattle, Washington. Have you heard of my Uncle Steve? Well, most people don't call him that. They call him Dr. Jones. He's a very famous archaeologist who is looking for some lost ruins in the Coral Sea. I've never actually met him, but last week I received a letter from him inviting me to stay with him at his laboratory on Sea Island. I leave tomorrow on a helicopter. I bet I won't be able to sleep at all tonight. Well, good night.
Man, this uncle must be loaded. You fly over there on a helicopter?
Yeah, that's got to be pretty expensive, you know, to fly on a helicopter all the way to an island. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, hang on. Here's entry 2 in his journal. Today I landed on Sea Island after a long helicopter ride. The people are very friendly, and they all seem to know my uncle. I sure like this village, but I haven't been able to find my uncle anywhere, and no one here seems to know where he is either. All right. Hey, does somebody want to play the role of Chief
Sure.
Coracola?
Yeah, Chief Coracola, or as I like to call him, Chubby Burt Reynolds.
Yes, that's exactly right.
All right, hey, Justin, and you can be the shaman.
Yeah,
Okay,
you can be the shaman, or shaman, whatever it is. Hi, Mike. I'm Chief Coracola, a close friend of your uncle's. Listen, try not to be upset. Your uncle, Dr. Jones, has been abducted. Mike, you are the best hope of rescuing Dr. Jones.
I love how he tries to ease you into it. Listen, try not to be upset.
I'm going to let you down easy, but, you know, the only parental figure you have on this island is gone.
Yeah.
Sorry, kid.
Yeah, who just lets a 15-year-old just off on the island without checking to make sure the uncle's there first, you know?
So now you have this creepy Chief Coracola that's shirtless telling you this. Yeah, it's awesome. Okay, so I'm the shaman of Coracola, and the chief's sister. That's weird. That's weird.
My shaman, you sound very manly.
That's true. I guess the shaman. Okay.
They don't look like siblings to me. I'm sorry,
No.
unless they're, maybe they're half. I don't know.
Yeah. Many wild monsters are said to be lying in wait in the dark below. But remember, the magic of the Southern Cross is always on your side.
Nice. That was kind of a mixture of, kind of like a Yoda voice almost.
A Yoda and creepy lady.
Yeah, Yoda and creepy lady.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. Well, this has been an edition of Two Dudes Theater, and hope you guys liked it.
Yes.
All right, so that's the rest of the manual is kind of telling you how to play the game. I don't understand this picture of Mike talking to this little kid on the ground here.
Like he's scolding him?
Yeah, he looks like he's scolding him.
I think the kid's supposed to be pointing him to, take a look at something.
Yeah.
I don't know,
but
these
Mike
kids love America, though. You can tell.
Yeah. But Mike is looking at him, back at him like, over there? You kidding me? There's no way I'm going over there.
You want to go into another cave? I hate caves.
Alright, it shows a bunch of cool gear, shows him jump kicking with some spikes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He sharpens some spikes. He's a Thai cob.
Okay. Alright, there you go. And it tells you what the Southern Cross is. It's one of the most beautiful of the constellations in the southern sky. There you go.
I feel like the Southern Cross is just a lazy constellation. You just pick 4 stars and yep, there's a cross. I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah, it could be anywhere, right?
Were you not going to read the compliance with FCC regulations?
We don't usually read that on the show. You know?
Just saying.
Yeah, we don't typically read
epilepsy
that.
warning.
Oh boy.
Yeah. All right. So I think I've already alluded to it a little bit, but this is one of my favorite games on the NES and one of my favorite games growing up. I don't know. I'm not going to rank it, but I would say that my ranking would probably be higher than the IGN ranking.
I'd agree with you. It's definitely one of my favorites, and I'm very nostalgic for it. I think there's just something about the setting is kind of a real-world setting, and it kind of transports you. It's almost like taking a vacation. If that makes sense.
Yeah, and the character is very relatable because he's a 15-year-old kid, you know, fights with a yo-yo, which we haven't talked about
all loved
yet.
yo-yos in the early '90s, so.
Yeah, I don't know if this happened in wherever you were in middle school, Aaron, or in. And I don't know. I'm not even 100% sure what age you were. Yeah, the Great Yo-Yo Revival with the ball bearings in them, and everybody's like throwing them. Yeah,
it was that and like breakdancing and comeback, like really, really big for like a year.
Yeah, but I remember you were not cool unless you had a yo-yo, and I had to beg my parents for a yo-yo. Like, and it had to be one with the little ball bearings in it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Couldn't just be a regular yo-yo.
Can you imagine if Nintendo would have sold like yo-yos modeled after Startropics?
Oh, really?
They would have had like spikes in them, and I mean, it would have been awesome. But no, they would have gotten sued.
I can remember my yo-yo was plastic, right? Because I wasn't one of the rich kids like some people. But I remember Crabman, who we talked about earlier. He had like an all-metal one with like these super big ball bearings, and it was probably like it was like $100 yo-yo or something.
You see those ones that have like a
was
gyro in them?
Yo-yo competitions.
You ever see those ones with like a gyro or something like that? All sorts of crazy yo-yos. I just remember watching, I think it was Ninja Turtles 2 that really popularized it again. Maybe that was what it was.
Oh,
when
yeah.
Ninja Turtles 2 came out, Michelangelo was like kicking these foot soldiers' butts, or whoever these guys were, just random thugs with the yo-yo. He's like, walk the dog, and
yeah. In the toy store at the beginning, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do remember
it's awesome.
That. So the yo-yo is actually a pretty effective weapon in this game. This game actually makes yo-yos pretty awesome, I think.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I can't think of another game that really used it quite as effectively as this game did.
I think, and I guess they kind of make it work by calling him a star pitcher, because I guess he can throw the yo-yo really hard at the mummies and snakes and whatnot.
Right. All right, guys. Unfortunately, I've got to take off. So I've got a kind of an important thing going on today.
Take off? Like Rob Luther take off?
Take off, you hoser. Yeah, I'm showing myself out. But I feel confident to lead the show, and because it's still going to be two dudes, because we've got an honorary dude here, right?
That's right. Aaron is an honorary dude. So.
But I've got to go, and thank you, Aaron, for coming on. And I hate that I have to leave, but something that I have to do. So.
All right. I won't talk about you when you're gone. Don't worry.
Okay. Well, I'm going to listen to make sure. Not that I don't believe you. Just, All right. See you guys.
See ya.
All right, see ya.
Man, that Justin's such a jerk.
Oh, I know.
I'm so glad he's gone. You want to just replace him permanently?
Sure. When do I start? Why don't I start now? We're recording
All
the
right,
show.
Here we go. No, just kidding.
No, I can't replace Justin. He's one of the two dudes.
But let's go ahead, and since it's just the two of us now.
Yes.
Just
the two of us.
Anyways, we could go ahead and I want to talk about these controls, because you're talking about how much better Startropics 2 is.
All right. Okay, so I remember not having a problem with the controls when I was a kid, but I just fired the game up again last night, and there's kind of like a little lag when you turn that you kind of have to get used to, if you notice that, because when you walk around in this game, it's all grid-based, because most of the game is you're hopping around on these touch plates on the ground.
Right.
Or you're walking around like a grassy field, basically. And so when you walk around, you can't go diagonally in this game. You kind of go straight, and then you pivot. He kind of pivots on his foot, and he goes another direction, and there's kind of a tiny bit of lag. But it's really not that bad. It's not as bad as I'm, I guess, making it out to be. It's just that in Zoda's Revenge, you've got free movement to move in all different directions. And so it makes the game a little bit different, to be honest. I like that in this game. It kind of, in my mind, it mixes... Tell me if you agree with this. It mixes Zelda gameplay, but with something like Adventures of Lolo. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I agree.
Where it's like trying to solve a puzzle in the room usually, or hit some switch to open the door.
Right, yeah, I agree. That's what I was talking about. The reason I love these controls is because it almost adds a puzzle element just because of the controls. And the game... It's not like the game. It's almost like they made a conscious decision for it to control this way, because the entire game is designed around the way he controls. I mean, jumping on these grids and stuff like that.
Yeah, a ton of jumping around and trying not to fall into the water. Because that's the funniest thing, when you fall into the water, you die, and you see, like, poor Mike, you see his ghost kind of float up in the air.
Yeah.
Which is one of my favorite things. I love the animation in this game. You know, you see the halo around his head. That's like a typical Japanese thing to do. Like, you saw it in, I don't know if you ever played Clash at Demon Head.
I have not yet.
That's one you guys definitely have to cover. But, like, the same thing happens. The character dies, and, like, his ghost just starts floating up. But, sorry, let's go back to the controls real quick. I'd say once you get used to it, it's not that bad.
But, I kind of understand what you're saying on the lag a little bit, though. It does lag a little. If it didn't... Because it's almost like you have to hit the direction twice. Once to turn and then to start moving. If they didn't do that, you know, if he automatically started going, it would probably maybe alleviate some of your concerns with the game. But I personally, just because that's the way I've always played it, and maybe because I've never played Startropics 2, but it doesn't bother me. It's just something I kind of get used to, and it's just you consider it a part of the game, you know.
What I wouldn't do is play a whole bunch of Zelda and then try to play this game right after it and expect that you're going to play Zelda again. You know, because those controls, it's still up, down, left, right, you know, 4 directions, but in that one, it's just instantaneous moving. So you do have to kind of go in with a tiny bit different mindset playing this game. That and this game is a lot easier to play than Zelda. It's like they targeted this game towards kids, and so it can get difficult in parts, but I love how short the stages are in this game, and everything's split up into a stage, right?
Yeah, right. I love that too, and I think, you know, like you said, it does make it a little bit easier, but it also makes it a little more playable for, like, adults, because adults are busy.
Yes,
so,
super busy. I've got 3 kids.
Me trying to play this game again. You know, when I was a kid, I could have just sat there and probably played the whole game in one day or something. But me trying to play this game for the show, and anytime I try to play this game nowadays, it's nice to be able to play a stage in about 20 minutes. Yeah. And then put it down and come back to it the next day, play another 20 minutes or something. Just anytime I have time, I can just play a little snippet of it, and then...
Yeah, it's surprising how fast you get to the boss. And I love the bosses too, but just like... You get to the boss, literally, you get into that dungeon, and about 5 minutes later, you're already at the boss. Like, you know, for some people, they might be taken aback, because in Zelda, you know, you really had to explore that dungeon to find everything. But in this game, what you really do is, you go into the dungeon, or the caves in this game, and you look for this special item. There's always a special item there, like in the first area, I can't remember.
It's like a fireball or something.
Yeah, it's a fireball. And so... each boss is unique, and you have to collect this weapon, and they give you so many of them, so you really have to just be careful how many of them you use, because they give you, like, you know, you might get 50 of them or something. But it's always enough to kill the boss, but you just have to be careful with how you use them. Like, I love in I think it's the second boss area, like, you get this, there's like a snowman power-up you get that you can freeze the boss, and then you can just start wailing on him with your projectile.
Yeah,
like, I love really stuff like that in this game. You know, they really put a lot of thought into the weapon system in this game.
Yeah, and the bosses, you talk about the bosses. I feel like they put a whole lot of thought into the entire boss fight. Like the arena that you fight the boss in, the boss. They always have this particular layout of these blocks that you jump on.
One, yeah.
And that worked perfectly for how you fight each boss.
He must get tired after doing all that jumping. Jeez, he's probably got massive, calves.
Yeah. Well, he's a pitcher,
does.
so I don't know.
Oh, that's right. But yeah, that's the cool thing in the boss area. It's not like in Zelda where there's an open area you can kind of run around and hide. No, you've got to jump on these blocks and dodge the projectiles. And to me, it almost feels more like a shooter game where you're trying to move out of the way by doing your jumping around.
Yeah,
but it's. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I can see what you're saying there, where you're coming from.
Yeah, but I like too that if you find someone who's never played an RPG in their life, I would have them start with this game because it's not too heavy on the town exploration. You talk to a few people and they tell you where to go, and that's it. And then as you move through the game and find out more of the story, you may be like. You'll go to another island on the archipelago, and you'll talk to one other person, and then they'll be like, "Oh, go here." And this game is very linear, which is good if you're just a beginning RPG player.
It is very linear.
It tells you exactly where to go.
Oh yeah. It is very linear, but I would preface that by saying that in the early parts of the game, I don't know why they did this, but you have to talk to everybody before you can move on. It's not like you have to find the one person that you need to talk to. It's in order for somebody to tell you where to go, or in order for the door to unlock, or whatever it is, you have to talk to everybody in the town. And they only do that in the first half of the game. The later half of the game, you don't really have to do that as much anymore. But in the first half of the game, every time you go back to the town, you pretty much have to talk to everybody in the town, and then you can go to the level. Which is that's probably my one major gripe with the game. That was just I feel like that was a dumb design choice there.
Yeah, that's going to be a thing that would happen in a lot of those earlier RPGs. I do like that everyone's at least intelligible. Nintendo always did a good job. Well, they didn't do a great job on Legend of Zelda with the translation, but on this game, they definitely made sure you could understand every single character. They made perfect English sentences. Dialogue wasn't complicated or anything, but at least it made sense.
Right.
It's like if you played Castlevania 2 or something like that, and you talk to any of the random townspeople, you just have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah, that's true. And like that manual that I read, it was very easily read. It was in perfect English. Of course, the manuals usually are. I don't know if the manuals may be made.
Well, I'm trying to think of Konami always made crazy manuals.
That's true. The stories were crazy and had nothing to do with the game, but they're usually
Gear.
They're usually pretty good English.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but yeah, I like the boss. There's a lot of bosses in this game. Not to jump back too much into bosses, but there's a ton of them, and they're all varied. It's been a long time since I beat this game, and I'm trying to remember. Zoda.
You remember something about an organ, having to play an organ to unlock an area of the game?
Yes, there is a part in the game where you have to play an organ to unlock an area.
Sequence, right?
Yeah, but there's another problem with the talking to the people in the game, because if you go back, if you remember the song for whatever reason, and you go to try to play it without talking to the person, it doesn't work. Even though you know the song, you have to go talk to the person that tells you what the song is. Before you can actually play the song and it work. So that's another one of those things that's kind of frustrating.
Yeah, it's one of those things where the way the game was designed, it has to trigger a certain event. And there's a thing that people try to do on games like this called sequence breaking. Have you ever heard of that?
Is that for speed runs and stuff?
Yeah, for speed runs. You hear about that in Final Fantasy games, like Final Fantasy 6. Where people will figure out a way to skip past and end up on another part of the game, so you don't, because normally you'd have to jump on an airship and get over to the other place, but here they somehow warp to the other area and skip half the game.
Yeah.
Because they break a sequence. And it's like in this game, you have to talk to certain people to trigger an event so that you can do the next thing in the game.
Yeah, I see what you're saying there.
Yeah,
but
so I don't know if
there's no broken spots. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think there are any broken spots.
Yeah, this game is pretty I haven't seen any bugs or glitches in this game that I can think of, to be honest.
The only thing I can think of is there's a little bit of flicker sometimes whenever there's a lot of enemies on the screen or something. Yeah. And that could partially be due to the fact that,
that's NES limitations.
Yeah, and your character, he's a pretty big sprite, so they probably used several sprites just on him. So then when there's a lot of enemies on screen, they may be kind of overloading the NES sprite-wise.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, was it more than eight sprites on the screen, and then you get a bunch of flicker? I think Mega Man had that problem because they throw a lot of enemies at you.
Right.
And as time went on the NES, you can tell this game is pretty advanced for the NES. They'd already, because it came out in 1991 or 1992.
I think it came out in 1990 actually.
Or 1990, okay. I think it was 92 in Europe. I'm sorry. But yeah, so the original Famicom was in '83, so it's almost like they had 7 years of experience working on the Nintendo. So, definitely some nice graphics on this game. Like you were saying, good controls. I love the music. Everything has that Caribbean.
Yeah, it's got an island flavor to it.
Yeah, I don't know the.
I've got one stuck in my head right now. I guess it's
beat to it.
I think it's the when you're on the island, not in the dungeons, but it's do 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 do. Or is that,
yeah, the cave theme. Yeah,
that's the cave theme. That's what it is. Yeah, I love that. That one sticks in my head, and it's good music when it sticks in your head.
Yeah, and people. That's the thing. People don't really remember. I think this game is kind of obscure for some people. I don't think they've brought it back for Super Smash Brothers or anything, but I think if they did, I think they should use that music.
Oh yeah, definitely. This is one of my biggest beefs with Nintendo actually, because I love this game.
Great stage for Smash Brothers.
And it died after Startropics 2, and I don't understand why. It really bothers me. I have a theory on that though. I think the reason Startropics kind of died is because they brought out Startropics 2, but they brought it out for the NES instead of the Super Nintendo. Because it came out in 1994.
Yeah, it was one of the very last NES games.
I think it was the second to last NES game to ever come out. And so the Super Nintendo was already, starting strong and going, and they brought it out for the NES to the Super Nintendo. I feel like if they would have brought Startropics 2 out and made it for the Super Nintendo instead of the NES, we'd probably still be playing Startropics games.
Yeah, that makes no sense to me, other than maybe they had already been working on Startropics 2, right after Startropics 1 came out. Mm-hmm. And they were using a modified version of the same engine, and so maybe it was just easier to just finish using that code than to try and port it over to the Super Nintendo and redo it. So that's my theory. I think, I definitely think they could have gone further with this series, but part of the problem too is it is kind of Zelda-like. They use the same hearts when you start the game up. It looks like you're playing a Zelda game because it's register your name,
Yeah, it is very, very similar to Zelda. So maybe they just didn't want to steal any thunder away from Zelda. But I think I really feel like both of these franchises could exist.
I agree.
And flourish.
And it's not the first time that Nintendo's said, okay, we've got, two different games like Super Mario Brothers. They did, Wario, they did Yoshi's Island. So it's not like they didn't have multiple games that use the same gameplay style of Mario. Why couldn't you do the same with Zelda,
Right. Besides, you can jump in this game. So
yeah, you can jump. Can Link jump? No.
Really? No.
Not unless you're playing Zelda 2, but...
Does Link have a yo-yo?
No. Does he get, cool power-ups? Well, besides the bomb, but maybe the boomerang. But no, this game just has some really cool power-ups, and I like the fact that don't you you get almost like a jar of life or something like that, and isn't it once you die it revives you? Is that what I'm thinking?
I think I remember.
Zelda.
No, I see. You can do that in Zelda, where you get a fairy, right?
Yeah, at least in the Super Nintendo one, where it'll revive you if you die.
I don't remember that in Startropics, but that does sound familiar.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But one thing I wanted to mention about this game is I like how unique the setting is, because there's not too many games that take place on an archipelago, which is a chain of islands. And if you know, an archipelago is usually formed when there's like volcanic activity.
Mm-hmm.
So, a volcano erupts and forms a whole bunch of separated islands. And so it's cool in this game that, you start off on Sea Island, and then you kind of keep exploring to find your uncle, and you have to go to different islands to get to the caves, and it's pretty cool. Like, it's almost like Zelda wouldn't do the whole getting on the high seas type gameplay until they got to, I think, Wind Waker.
Right.
So
yeah,
I don't know. It's another cool thing about this game.
So I think Aaron, we're going to start a show called Two Dudes Talk About Geography.
Yes. Yes. I was just in a physical geography class last semester. That's why it's on my brain still. It's one of my favorite classes.
Archipelagos and sedimentary rocks, igneous
the subduction
rocks.
Zone. Oh yeah, igneous rocks. Oh, we learned all about that. Oh yeah.
Basalt. Anyways.
That would be great.
Yeah. No, I don't know.
It would be fun for us, but not for other people.
Right. Well, I don't know. I feel like we've done this game. I feel like we've done this game justice. I mean, I could probably continue talking about it, but
I like the cameos in the game, and I think there's a Tetris cameo too. Wasn't there like Tetrapad or something like that? I want to say
maybe.
What about? Yeah, I'm trying to think of it. And then don't you rescue a princess in this game? Do you remember that?
Oh man, I don't remember that. It's been so long since I made it deep into the game.
Yeah, and I'm gonna see just real quick. I want to say it's who I think it is, but let me look it up.
Okay, well, while you're looking it up, while I was doing research, I did find a Startropics fan page where somebody is making a Startropics 3. It's been in the works for a long time. But it looked really cool. It's basically just using the Startropics engine. Or something similar to it.
Is it an NES game? Is it like a hack? Or is it a standalone?
It's a standalone. It's actually Startropics.com, the same place where you get the other stuff. I guess the same guy is he's making a Startropics 3. But I don't know. It looks cool. I would go to Startropics.com and check it out. It looks like he's wanting to do a level editor, like where you can make your own dungeons. So that could be cool. Okay. And so.
The only other thing I want to mention about this game is you get to talk to dolphins, and that is awesome. I just got to say that. And they communicate with you, and they speak English because you've got a translator on your ship.
Right, that was cool. The ship aspect. For just a second. The ship aspect is a cool thing because, first of all, you have to get that frequency from the letter that we talked about earlier.
Right.
Which is cool. And Rob is your co-captain, Rob the robot.
Yes, and the ship is named Sub-C, which I thought was something to do with Subcon from Super Mario Bros. 2, but I don't know if that was actually a reference.
Yeah, I don't know. It's Nintendo. They tend to do references like that quite a bit, so it could be. But I thought the ship was a cool idea.
Definitely.
It's kind of like puts in some Final Fantasy style elements in it, where you get a vehicle to transport you around the map, which is.
Yeah, this was there's a little bit of Final Fantasy thrown in there too, definitely, with the talking to all the townspeople and then getting from area to area on a ship. So yeah, I can definitely see that.
Yeah. All right.
At least there's no random encounters.
Yeah, that's
it's true. Every time you enter a dungeon though, the game's like, now we're gonna save your game. Do not turn the power off. Every time. I'm always
leery about these old games, and I always do what they tell me to. I don't turn the power off, and I hold reset as I turn the game off.
Hold the reset button.
But I wonder, and I think we talked about this on a show a long, long time ago, but does anything ever really happen if you don't do that? Because I'm too afraid to risk it. But I guess it could erase your game.
Yeah, I mean, there's the potential that it could erase what's supposed to be saved to that battery. Maybe we didn't write to the battery, but it never happened to me. I've turned off my system, on different RPGs before without thinking about it.
So Nintendo is just kind of paranoid, I guess.
Yeah, just a little bit. They don't make you do that on the Retron 5, do they? I don't know.
I don't know, but the Retron 5 has backups.
Oh, that's right. They have
Hyperkin.
There you go.
We need some ad revenue, Hyperkin.
Send two dudes money.
Yeah.
Send them a Retron 5.
Yeah, or send me a Retron 5. I'll take a Retron 5.
They'll review it.
Yeah. Well, we would do a review. Yeah, it'd be awesome. Yeah. I doubt anybody from Hyperkin cares about us.
I had one parting thought on this game. Do you notice that when you pause the game, he lifts up a sign that says pause?
Yeah, I love that. That's one of my favorites.
Like, where does he get that sign?
When he turns back into his overworld sprite too.
Oh yeah, it's his chubbier, kind of shorter, squat sprite. That's awesome. Yeah, I was just like, so he's got a yo-yo, but then he's also got a pointy sign that he could probably break off and turn into a steak and start stabbing at enemies with. But no, he's not gonna do that. It's just a pause sign.
Yeah. No, I thought that was cool. It's a cute little touch.
Retrofitted trophies.
All right, Aaron, did you bring some retrofitted trophies with you today?
Retrofitted trophies. Oh, shoot. No, but I'll try and think of some if you think of some.
Okay, I've got two right off that I wrote down. I might think of another one before it's all said and done. The first one is Flipper, a King of the Ocean, and that is Talk to the Dolphin for the first time.
Oh, awesome.
Flipper, Flipper.
Flipper the Dolphin, yep. Or
Yeah.
Free Willy, there you go. Willy,
yeah, Free Willy, the whale. I think Willy was
that was a whale. No, yeah, you're right. Flipper was a dolphin.
Or Echo, we could go with
Echo, yeah.
We
Echo
could
the
call out the Sega Genesis, Echo the Dolphin.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so I don't know what that trophy's called anymore. Flipper/Echo.
There you go. I just thought of one, and that's Mike Jones. Who? And that's where you find out what the main character's name is by talking to all the townspeople. So you're like, "Hi, Mike. How are you doing?" So, you talk to all the random townspeople, and they tell you more about yourself than you already know.
Nice.
So that's one of mine.
Okay.
Do you have any other ones?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe Takeo. No. All right, I screwed this one up. It's been a while since we really screwed up a retrofitted trophy, so this is good. This will be good for the show.
Oh, perfect.
I was trying to think of one like because you fight the snake, the cobra, right? I was trying to think of something about G.I. Joe's fighting Cobra. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I know what you're saying. I'm trying to think of another one. Oh shoot, how about
Knowing is half the battle, and it's defeat the Cobra.
Oh, there you go, perfect. Knowing is half the battle. What about I'm trying to think of something from Zelda. Like here's a Zelda reference that I keep on popping up. It's a secret to everybody.
Uh-huh.
You know that piece of dialogue, and so that's when you have to get on the ship and enter the secret code.
Oh, so, perfect. Yeah.
747.
Which stinks if you bought this game secondhand.
Yes, because
hey, I've got one. Secondhand nightmare.
Yes,
buying this game secondhand and not knowing what the code is.
I have a quick aside about that. So I later did that. I lost the letter. I couldn't remember the code, and my friend was over at the house, and he literally sat there for an hour going through every number combination. Because I think it's 3 digits, right?
Yep.
So he went through every number combination he could think of until he finally found it. And that was before, we didn't have game facts or game FAQs. So
yeah, wow.
That's dedication. So that's the dedication trophy.
Nice. That makes me wonder, I wish I had my calculator to do a permutation. And figure out how many different
How many
different
sequences
combinations you could do? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a guess. I want to say it's like probably like at least a few thousand. You'd think, right?
Yeah, it'll take you quite a while because you're going to get to the 7s before you find that code.
I don't know.
And
It may be less. It may be less than 1,000, but it's probably at least 500. I'd say it's 500. That's gonna be my guess.
Definitely unique copy protection because you're already like halfway through the game, I want to say, and it's not a long game. This game will take you like maybe 4 to 5 hours to beat, maybe a little less if you're fast. It really doesn't take all that long though.
No, it's not. It's not a very long game, but that is an interesting attempt at copy protection, if that's what they were intending. It could have just been that they were wanting to make the game more interesting, but I have a feeling that it was kind of a copy protection task.
Yeah.
I do have one more trophy.
Yeah.
If you will bear with me. It's called I Ain't Afraid No Ghosts. And that's beat the ghost boss. Or it could be
awesome.
or it could be Ghostbusters. Beat the ghost boss.
That's cool. Yeah. The one I thought of, I'm trying to think of a good name for it other than stick bananas in your ears. So what you have to do is take a picture of yourself, and this is a challenge for all the dudes out there.
Uh-oh.
Take a picture of yourself sticking 2 bananas up to your ears, just like Mike does.
Yeah.
In that screenshot.
We'll give you a bunch of dude points if you put that up on Facebook, because that's embarrassing.
It is. It's a pretty silly picture because Mike doesn't take himself all that seriously for a 15-year-old.
Right. Like any.
Just like Mike here. Yeah. Just like the 2 dudes, Mike.
You're right. Even though I'm twice game Mike's age.
Though he was older than you when this game came out.
This is true. That's true. So he's probably 40 years old now.
Yeah.
Wonder what he's doing. That's what they should do. They should make a new Startropics game with a 40-year-old Mike. He's got like a beer gut.
Yeah, he's gonna look like the chief.
Right. Yeah, that would be awesome.
Oh yeah.
All right. How about a rating? You want to give this game a rating?
Game rating.
I would give this game a solid. What are we rating out of?
Well, we don't give number ratings. We actually don't really give ratings that mean anything at all. We give the game a rating based on a category. Okay. Like last week when we played Batman, we did a rating of Nocturnal Animal.
Oh, okay.
So for Startropics, I'm thinking
coconuts?
I'm going to say let's go with Kid's Toy because of the yo-yo. So, but
or
you
the
can't
Island Star, as they called it in the Wii.
Yeah, so you can't use the yo-yo.
You can call it an Island Star.
But I'm going to give this game a rating of. I'm going to give this game a rating of a basketball because you can throw it and hurt people.
Oh yeah.
And basketball it's a really good game, like in real life. It's a really classic sport. And I feel like basketball is kind of fallen by the wayside. I don't know if I feel like football is just, or at least in my area in the southeast.
Well, they don't really have like fantasy basketball, do they?
Yeah,
it's really all about fantasy football.
Right, and especially down here in the southeast. We still watch basketball on occasion, but it's really I remember basketball being a lot bigger back in Michael Jordan's days.
Yeah.
And it's kind of fallen by the wayside, which I feel like Startropics is also kind of fallen by the wayside. So that's why I'm going to give it a basketball.
Good allusion there. I'd probably give it a banana.
That's a kid's toy?
No.
Like a rubber banana?
Like a rubber banana. Oh yeah, like No, I don't know. If it was a kid's toy, what would I pick for this game? I'd probably pick. That you get an item in this game where it's almost like a paddle with 2 balls that you bounce back and forth.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know what that's called, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's what I'd give this game. It's almost like these 2 balls that kind of spin around and hit the paddle, and you kind of gotta bounce it back and forth.
Okay.
But I give her one of those, whatever those are called. If someone can look it up and tell me what it's called.
Yeah. And how would you relate that to the game?
I would say this game will give you many hours of enjoyment. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
Now, there's my daughter asking for breakfast, so that's how you know the show's about to wrap up.
Yeah, we gotta start wrapping it up. I'm gonna quickly run through feedback real fast.
Listener feedback.
Because we have 2 new iTunes reviews. One from Sweden. So this one's from Sweden. It's a 5-star review from I can't pronounce this name because it's in Swedish.
I'm gonna feel bad, but his name's not Sven, is it?
No, I think it's Gruvong.
Okay.
Gruvong. Yeah, maybe. I think I really butchered it. So Gruvong, if I butchered your name, please correct us somehow. All right, 2 dudes talking about the best console ever made, the NES or the NES. If you want to relive the good old days when graphics didn't come before the gameplay, you should listen to the dudes playing games with them. So that's good. Thank you from Sweden. That's unusual that we get a review from outside of the country. And then we got one more from Super Tim 82. Super Tim 82 says, fantastic show, very nostalgic, and all content is approached with humor and love. I dig the retrofitted trophy section. The show art is cool the way you use a box art for each review. Keep them coming. So thank you for the iTunes reviews. All right, and then on our forums, which is nestdudes.boards.net, we have a few short little feedbacks. We have one from Retro Sinister. Retro Sinister says, one of the more overlooked games on the NES, and interestingly, one of the few first-party NES games to not have a Japanese release. Which is cool. We didn't really touch on it too much. We did mention it in the quiz.
We mentioned Punch-Out, right?
What's that?
I think Punch-Out was like that.
Yeah. But I think that's interesting that they released it here before they... and then never released it in Japan. Maybe that's why it doesn't have it's not really gotten a lot of sequels, because Japan's not really latched onto it. That could be.
Yeah. It's just kind of weird, because it's like, why would a Japanese developer make a game and then not release it in Japan?
Yeah, I don't know. It is weird. That's Nintendo for you. All right, the No Swear Dude, aka the No Swear Gamer, which has his YouTube channel. Go check it out. He says, jumping Zelda with a yo-yo. Yep, pretty much sums it up. Honorary Dude J, Fish Lips J, says, I never played this game, but I do remember seeing walkthroughs for it and the sequel in Nintendo Power. Now, is the boss pronounced Soda, or is it Saw?
It's, I thought it was Zoda, Z-O-D-A.
Yeah, I think it's Zoda. But then he goes on to say something funny about English, which is, have you ever heard of the fish spelled G-H-O-T-I, Gotti? But it's not pronounced Gotti, it's still pronounced fish. I don't know, this isn't an English podcast, but it is funny. Look it up, Gotti fish. It has something to do with the way that GH is pronounced and the way that the O is pronounced and the way the TI is pronounced in certain parts of the English language. Like enough, like enough, GH is pronounced like an F. And women, like it sounds, the O sounds like an I, and then in question it sounds like SH. It makes an SH sound. So, anyways, phonemes, people, phonemes. Anyways, and then the last one is from Michigan Gamer. Michigan Gamer says, only played this one a couple times when I was a kid. I don't remember much about it, but I'm sure after the podcast, I'll be searching for it. Love the show. Keep up the good work. And I have a feeling that I think we've gushed enough about this game that people are going to want to pick it up.
Yeah, I say go pick it up, and it's pretty common because it's a Nintendo game, so you can probably find it. I just don't know how easy it's going to be able to find it in box with the letter. So just remember 747 if you listen to the show.
747. It's like a jet. But yeah, I imagine that a box copy with the letter, or just the letter in general, is probably pretty hard to come by.
Yeah, I want to say I picked this game up for like $30 or $40 when it was new.
Which makes you think is this a nice collector's item?
I think so. I think it would be a cool thing to have in your collection, and you could frame that letter. And if you're a huge Startropics fan, you could just frame it and put it up.
Oh yeah, I would love to do that. Maybe I need to search out a letter so I can frame it and put it up on the wall.
You could just make one.
Yeah,
just print it out.
We did. Do you have time to listen to a phone call? Because somebody did call us.
Yeah, sure.
All right, hang on just 1 second, and I'll get us a phone call.
Dude, honorary dude Jay Jorgensen here. Just calling because you guys kept posting on Facebook that nobody's called in a while, so I figured I'd do my part, I guess. And I'm narcissistic, and I really like to hear the sound of my own voice being played somewhere. Now that the Dude Nation population is growing, what should we start calling a group of D-padders? I'm going to go with a select button. How does that sound? A select button of D-padders? I don't know. And I guess in parting, I'll end with a joke. Sodium, 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 sodium. Batman. Kenneth will get that one.
He wants to know what you call a group of D-padders. His suggestion was a select button. So, kind of like a gaggle of geese, I guess. What would you call a group of D-padders? A select of D-padders? I like that.
Select of D-padders. Maybe, trying to think. I can't think of another good one for that. Oh, that's crazy. That's cool, though.
I don't know. We'll think about it, Jay. We'll get back to you. All right, that pretty much is going to wrap our show for the most part, I think. Remember, I'll tell Aaron. Go ahead and remind everybody who's forgotten where you're from, your show,
okay,
and how to find you.
Yeah, so I'm a member of the Retro Junkies, but I'm also on the Retro Obscura podcast. You can always hear us on Podomatic.com/Retro Obscura. We're also on iTunes. And I did just want to give a short shout out also to the 10 Pence Arcade. My buddy Vic over there said he's a big listener of the Two Dudes podcast, and he just wanted to mention that they've got a Nintendo special coming out on Tuesday, which is a couple days from now. I don't know when you guys will hear this though, but that will be on.
It'll probably be the exact same day, or probably Tuesday or Wednesday. So this may have been yesterday that this came out. This special.
So on the 30th of September, that's when they're doing their 125th anniversary Nintendo show, and they're an arcade podcast, so they're going to talk about some pretty cool stuff about Nintendo's arcade history.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, definitely check them out.
All right. And let's see, Justin normally does this part, so I may really screw it up. But you can find us on Facebook and Twitter at NES Dudes. We got the forums, nesdudes.boards.net. Lots of cool stuff going on there. We got a phone number, which is 775-7retro1. You can call us and leave us a voicemail about the game, or just ask us a question in general, or I don't know, tell us your favorite color. I don't know, something. Let's see, what else? Oh yeah, don't forget about the GoFundMe, our emotional mid-span there at the beginning of the show. Go check that out and donate if you feel fit. Let's see. Oh, and find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, Podomatic,
MySpace.
MySpace. We are on MySpace. You can listen to shows on MySpace. Some of them. Yeah. Let's see. I think that's pretty much it. What's that?
They tune in?
Oh yeah, we're on TuneIn. Got
that 24-hour stream going.
Yeah, 24 hours of TuneIn. I think we've got enough shows that you could listen for 24 hours straight. Challenge.
Do it now.
Oh yeah, we got a website, nesdudes.com, which is cool. It's got show notes and stuff. And yeah, some articles. I don't know. Obviously, you can tell Justin normally does this part. I don't know what I'm doing.
You're just winging it, but that's all right.
I think he's got a sheet that he looks off of. Yeah. I think he cheats. But I would here's what I say. I say we got two things that you can type into Google that will bring you to us. You can type in NES Dudes, like NES Dudes, or you can type in Two Dudes and a NES. If you type either one of those into Google, you'll probably find something about us. So that would be my suggestion. All right, that pretty much wraps it up. I think next week we don't have a game. I think we've got something different than a game next week. So
Accessory, maybe?
no, it's not an accessory either. I think this one may not have much to do with the NES, but we'll see. I don't know, but there may be no music here. There may be something else. All right. Anyways, catch y'all later.
See ya.